Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Taisho Alice. And I still don't have a voice because I can't even say, hey guys! It's never gonna get better. Anyway, so we are just continuing the other side of the story, so maybe we'll finish it today, we'll find out. But anyway, that day, Alistair had an appointment at the hospital, so we agreed to go our separate ways home. I took the opportunity to go shopping, browse the bookstore, and enjoy a rare moment of private time alone. Now you're just being a jerk. Now you're just being a jerk throwing Mr. Neelix's foods all over. Oh. On my way home, however, I spotted a group of girls I recognized from school. Because I looked over at Little Bird playing on your thing does not mean you jam yourself under my neck. I can't sit like that. I love you, though. She drives me crazy. You're really mad about it, huh? She's just such an attention whore. Just because she's mixed race or something, she's allowed to have permed hair when the rest of us aren't. And her eyes are creepy. I thought she said it was all natural. She's probably lying about it. And the way she talks is so obnoxious, says this girl. Yeah, it's definitely pretty weird. I was already aware that these girls resented me for getting a lot of attention. But at this point, I wasn't going to try to reteach myself how to talk. That being said, I figured I could make more of an effort to keep a low profile. But just then, I caught sight of Alistair nearby. Instantly, I was mortified. I could only hope he wouldn't realize they were talking about me. Praying silently, I took the long way home. Hey, Allie Sue! What's up? There's something I've been meaning to ask you. Sorry, but I'm not accepting any declarations of love right now. I can't even confess! No, that's not it! Why do you talk all weird? Why do you talk all weird? Oh my god, I can't. My stomach lurched, but I hastily played it off with a joke. So kana? Do I? That, exactly! You keep switching languages! What's your fucking point? Is it really that weird? No. Super weird, dude. It's not. You agree with me, right, Blondie? I spent my childhood speaking both languages, you know? Code switching is just easier than trying to commit to one of the two. Besides, it's what makes me unique. Unique? Yep. I nodded, smiling. As we walked home, I suddenly remembered that the fridge was empty. Say, Alice, mind if we stop by the store real quick? Sure, I don't mind. Oh, it's Arisu. Nice to see you again, cutie. Thanks. Is there a cutie discount I can get? Wow, you're so fluent in our language. Don't bite me. You're not allowed to sit with me. A few days later, we were meeting up at the school gates like usual. Sorry about that. Were you waiting long? Not really. Out of the blue, Alistair looked me dead in the eye. What? I love your gemstone eyes and soft fluffy hair. It's what makes you, you. Huh? Oh, sorry, just a random thought I had. Desperately, I blinked back tears. Thanks. It was the most I could manage to say. No problem. He had noticed how I felt about him, and he truly hadn't changed at all. He was still my prince. Not exactly, but okay, sure. I'm happy for them in the real world. I want to stay in the man harem in his head, so. Then one day, as I was doing homework in my room, there came a knock at the door. Is it cool if I come in? Based on his manner of speech, it sounded like Cinderella. Oh. Right, this is when he's pretending. Sure. What you up to? Suddenly I sensed something off. Just finishing up my homework. Sure is rough being a student. You don't normally do this, do you, Alistair? Actually, I think this is the first time. At this, his eyes widened. Huh? You can tell it's me? Of course I can. It's you, silly. One thing was for certain. No matter which version of him I met, I'd always be able to find the real him. I'm curious about the sex part. because it was the wizard. It wasn't Alistair because he doesn't remember it, so I'm just really curious. She's like, I always know when it's really him, but you still put out for one of the other personalities. And again, if that's a conversation that you have and you're like, so like I'm gonna sleep with all your personality. Okay, cool. But like, if you're so in love with Alistair, you think he would be you'd be like, you get to be the first time though, and then like the rest, because like for you it's not the first time, but for all of them it is, right? Which is fine. But kind of is, because like each one of them would kind of be different, I'm guessing. But like, you know what I mean? That's a conversation you have with the person that you're dating that has multiple personalities. But I mean, I'm just saying. I could totally find the real him, and yet really curious about her motivation there. After that, life was uneventful for a while. Hey, I finished sweeping the floor. Thanks. Alistair seemed a lot more relaxed around me now. This made me happy, since it sort of felt like we'd gone back to old times. This place used to be a cafe, right? Supposedly. My parents are a little eccentric, so they bought the place and turned it into a summer home. They renovated all the furnishings and stuff, but the rest is intact. Wow. Back when this place was first built, Japan was dipping its toes into Western culture. Women were starting to advocate for themselves, and society started to favor personal freedom. They called it Taisho democracy. I'm learning about it in class. Yep, and it was during the Taisho era that Japan's first cafe was built. Whoa, there's a lot of little things like that sprinkled in, which is kind of cool. Arisu, you're a great cook. If this was actually a cafe, you'd probably get a lot of customers. Oh, you think so? That's so sweet. The compliment made my face burn hot. The whole reason I learned how to cook to begin with was to be worthy of my prince. Wait, did you just... I was so distracted by the compliment itself, I nearly missed the most important part. He called me by my last name, not my actual first name. So again, I just feel like that's weird. You called me by my name. Like everyone else. And he's called you Arisu before. I feel like that was kind of like a typo. Like, I think it should have been meant to be... not in the translation, but maybe in the game itself. I feel like it should have been her first name. Because he's called us Arisu before. He's never just been like, hey, you. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and in Japanese culture, you call people by their last names. It's when you call them by their first name. That's when we're close. So, like, him calling us by our last name, like, every fucking other person would be like, okay, that's normal. Be like in America, people call you by your first name, and you're like, okay. And then when they're like, baby, honey, sweetie, that's when you're close. Like, you gave me a nickname. You know what I mean? Like, don't bite, rude bird. Sorry, I wasn't sure how I'm supposed to address you, so I just kind of picked it random. Sorry if I offended you. And again, he wouldn't be saying that about a last name. It doesn't make any sense. No, not at all. Say it again. What? Say my name. Arisu? It's like, again, this makes no sense. What's up, Alistair? Delighted I called his name in return. I mean, we're more personable with frickin' Wolf, who calls us Allie Sue. He gave us a nickname. And we're flipping out because, I mean, I get it. Like, frickin' Alistair could have called us, yo, dumb slut. And we would have been like, oh my god, he's in love with me. Because she's kind of a fucking idiot. But in this, I liked the character and all the other routes. I don't particularly like her in this. I don't know. I just don't feel as like, she's kind of fun. Like, this one I'm just like, yeah, I just don't. There's a little, like, I don't hate her, but I'm like, yeah. I liked all the other routes when we were going through, but now when we're like reading this, I'm like, yeah, I don't feel the same. I don't think I'd have disliked her if we, like, say this route was first. It'd be like, okay, yeah, she's fine. But then the other ones would have been like, well, they're way better. I like the other versions when we were in their heads. Like, even if we were a little fucked up or whatever in those routes, I don't know. It's just, this one, she's a little like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like, meh. But I also just meh about Alistair. Like, I don't know. Anyway. After we'd all been living together for about 6 months, my parents decided to go back to the big city.
You're sure you'll be okay?
I'll be fine. If I need anything, I can always ask Ryoshi. I can handle the cooking and cleaning all my own. And I'm on top of my schoolwork, too.
Right, I suppose so.
And I do like that we're getting the other side of the story, but at the same time, we're doing basically replaying almost the entire game again, reading the same things, and I'm like, I just I like it because we get to see our perspective, the things that we're thinking when this is happening. But at the same time, I don't because I'm like, it's basically we're just playing the same damn game again. And she's really not contributing that much. You know what I mean? I almost would have rather been like, okay, throw a little side story with Wolf or throw a side story with Ryoshi. I thought there was them in the original game, but I read that somewhere. Someone said it. Maybe they were wrong. Maybe they just hoped. I don't know. But like this is like, yeah, you threw in a couple of lines in her head, but we're reading the same scenarios again, and it's like I just don't like shit being repetitive. And like I just feel like this is very repetitive. And it's not like it's a little boring, is what I'm saying. Like I'm just a little bored with it. Which is sad because I don't want to end the game. I'm like, it got a little boring because we basically played the whole game again. You know? I know we're seeing it like a little bit more cohesively from our perspective, but it's too fresh in my mind. It's not like, hey, at the end, then we got a refresher of what happened, and you're like, okay, right, pieces I forgot. We just did this. And it's not even like, oh, we had a discussion, blah, blah, blah. And you say if you were doing exactly the same thing, and then there's one or two lines in our head that are different, and then I don't know. I guess I just don't need all of it. I don't need the whole fucking thing again. Like, but I kind of see why they did it because if we didn't, then you'd be like, where's the thing? Our parents left already? Wait, it would feel disjointed, but I just, it's like, how frustrated I got when we read it. So dreams are like, oh, I swear to God, if you say that fucking thing about dreams or a manifestation, I swear to God, I'll punch someone. Because I hate that we read that line 7,000 fucking times. Word for word, and it's like, I'm gonna kill you. So this is almost borderline that, like, we've read this all before. It's kind of like when I have to redo a part because like audio or something gets messed up. I'm like, this is not the most fun. I've already done this. But that's almost more understandable. I don't know. I love this game. I really do. But this other side of the story is just, I could have done without it, I guess. But anyway.
Ryoshi, please look after these two.
Of course.
If anything happens, get in touch. I'll try to come home as fast as I can.
Okay. Frankly, I always knew this was going to happen sooner or later. To my parents, work came first and family came second, if at all. Maybe they looked like upstanding philanthropists to the rest of the world, but as their daughter, I wasn't impressed. Okay, like that's an interesting line. Like, I'm not impressed by my parents. Like, I mean, her little insights, the one or two lines that are different are nice. It's the 98% of this that is the exact same things we've read. And I'm like, okay, add a little more. You know what I mean? More of what's in her head, less of repeating the stuff. But again, you really can't not do it, so. Guess it's just you and me from now on. Yeah. Are you going to miss them? I was a little nervous. Part of me felt that Alistair needed some parental figures in his life. I feel like this is slightly different. I don't remember this scene, but this turned out to be a needless worry. I don't know. They're not my parents, so you'll probably miss them more than I do. I'll be fine as long as I've got you. Okay, I remember that line, but I don't remember the rest of that. It's better if I don't remember it. Like, I wanted to believe he needed me as much as I needed him. But how can I make sure of that? Back in my room, I was changing into my PJs. But just then, Sue, I'm coming in. Alistair walked in on me in my underwear. Hastily backed out and shut the door. Sorry, I didn't think to ask if you were changing. I could hear him shouting from the other side of the door. He sounded really flustered. My crush had just seen me basically naked. Even I wasn't immune to shame. But I didn't want to let it snowball into a huge awkward moment. So I finished changing, then opened the door. Hey, I'm really sorry. Did you see? You saw my naked body, didn't you? Well, he stammered, blushing bright red. Are you gonna make it up to me? How? Once he was utterly at a loss for words, I died a steady smile. I'm sorry. Just kidding. It's okay, no big deal. Oh, okay. He nodded, looking confused. So what did you need? I forgot. Are you serious? Man, I'm so dumb. Well, here's the weird thing. This is around the time Gretel is born, so are we going to see that? Because that's definitely would be different because he doesn't remember being Gretel. We would remember him being Gretel, you know? Before long, autumn rolled around. By this point, it felt like we'd been together all our lives. Yo, Blondie! Wolf. Morning, Allie Sue. Good morning. We were now good friends with Wolf. While he may have seemed a little vapid at first glance, he was actually very sharp and observant, so I'd always go to him for advice about Alistair. But my favorite thing about him was his ability to read the room. After he learned about Alistair's situation, he positioned himself at the perfect distance so he could help at any time. I'm sorry, buddy. My neck itched. I didn't mean to actually make you think I was trying to hug you. What's for lunch today? Here you go. Woohoo! Allie Sue's home cooking is all mine, baby. I remembered you hate onions, so I put in a whole bunch. Ew. Oh, and a nice salad. Come on, Allie Sue. I'm a growing guy, remember? And growing guys need to eat their veggies. Right, Alistair? I tried to include him in the conversation, but... Huh? Oh, right. You seemed a little absent-minded today. What's wrong? Oh, nothing. All good. Naturally, my brain jumped to the conclusion it liked most. Was he jealous of my friendship with Wolf? So much so that he creates another personality. That's right, this is kind of around when it happened, wasn't he? Because does he imagine being at school and, like, knocking Wolf's lunch to the ground and shit? Looking back, perhaps this was proof that I had let my guard down. Yeah. As much as I love Wolf as a side character, I really wish he would just go away because I can't do his voice. It's making mine worse. Like, it's, like, been almost a week. Then it came time for Wolf and I to head off separately. See you later, Alistair. Yeah, see ya. As we parted ways, I saw him waving sadly and realization struck me. He just wanted to go to the same school as us. But it was too late to close the gap now. Still, I figured I could always cheer him up with a sweet treat. So I decided to make him a little something. Oishi, yummy. Oishi. I can't say that. Could you try to say it? Oishi is fine, but you're trying to say it like, yeah, it's so good. But my voice is getting worse. Wow. After a quick taste test, it was ready. Right after that moment, he walked in. Talk about perfect timing. I smell something sugary. I just made pudding. When I looked at him, I gasped. For me? Why, thank you. It's Gretel. It wasn't him. It was one of the others inside his head. What's with the weird look? And this was one I hadn't met before. Who are you? I asked purely an impulse. He fixed me with a sickeningly sweet smile. Oh, come on now, don't joke around. I'm Gretel, your adorable little brother. How could you possibly forget? Gretel? Instantly I understood. Gretel was the younger sister of a famous fairy tale protagonist, and I had directly caused this personality to come into being. Oh, right. Duh. Silly me. Sorry for asking such a stupid question. It's all right. So, are you going to spoon feed it to me? Sister. He didn't say sister, but I wanted him to. Of course. Say ah. Ah. I can't. Nom. How is it? I give it 40 points. Out of 50, right? Out of 100, of course. Ow, bird. And so I spoiled Gretel rotten. You're not going to be allowed to sit with me. You're very bitey, and I'm sorry that you don't like my chin moving, but my chin is moving because I'm talking. You're a nasty bird. You're very, very nasty today. You're very, very nasty all the time lately. I don't know what your problem is. Oh, you're always nasty. Nobody asked you. But Neelix is usually nice birdie. You're usually very nice bird. Oh, he's going to snuggle you. I don't like that. The longer we lived together, the more opportunities I had to get to know his other self. It's like, fuck. The little bird is sitting over here looking. Eventually, he's going to jump on me, and then I'm just going to be a bird. I'm just going to be sitting over the bird pile. They were all unique individuals, and the more time I spent with them, the more I came to love them. Not out of pity or charity. I just sincerely fell for all of them. See, that's my problem with the man-harem thing. I watched as my beloved slept peacefully beside me. As I stroked his hair, I thought to myself, maybe things could stay like this. Provided they all consented to it, of course. But they don't want to share. Bastards. Then at some point I dozed off. This was the stroking Gretel's hair moment. What the? Arisu? I heard a voice calling in the dark. It was the prince who once guided me through the darkness. When I opened my eyes, I found Alistair in a state of panic, his face red as a tomato. Why are you in my bed? Oh, sorry. Last night Gretel was resting his head on my lap. We must have dozed off. I'm so sorry. Then for some reason he bolted from the room. Wait. Oh, wait. It's my room. Why should I have to leave? Then again, she had my head in her lap. It wasn't me, though. I could hear everything he was muttering to himself. Yeah, because the voices in his head he's saying out loud, he just didn't realize it. Alice? What? Sorry, did I cross a line? I decided not to comment on what I'd overheard. No, not really. I wasn't involved, so... What about you, Arisu? You don't have to do that stuff if you don't want to. That I do want to. I don't mind it, actually. Oh. Oh, I got really up. Say, Alice, what do you want to have for breakfast? Anything's fine. Yeah? Maybe I'll make eggs Benedict. Does that sound good? Yeah. Cool. I'll call you when it's ready. Thanks. I smiled, then turned and headed to the kitchen. Once I was out of sight, I stood there and clutched my blushing cheeks. What you doing, little birdie? Hi. Sometimes you're cute, and then sometimes you scream like an asshole. As the happy days flew by, the sparkle slowly began to fade. It was now our second year of college, and Gretel had violently attacked a fellow student. Right, I understand. Thank you very much. Guess what? They said you won't be expelled. I passed along the message from the school board. Good birdies. But Alistair was taking the news really hard. You don't have to feel bad about this, Alistair. It wasn't your fault. So it was Gretel's fault? No, I don't think it was his fault either. God, you always... I knew what he wanted to say. To be honest, I was fine with him taking it out on me. Frankly, I deserved some of the blame. Shouldn't you be at school, Arisu? No, it's okay. How come? Well, this time I was the one to hold my tongue. The end. And like, I don't know, it just took forever. Like anyone, I had secrets of my own. Secrets no one knew about. Like the fact that I was cheating on Alistair with one of his personalities. Okay, yeah, there you go. The wizard. Though he didn't have a name, he was my strongest piece. So, like... Okay, that actually does explain it, and I don't know why it didn't click until just now. He's my strongest piece. She's using the wizard. Because I was like, why, if you're in love with Alistair, would you sleep with one of his other personalities? Why would you sleep with the Okay, duh. Oh my god. Because I'm a better person than this bitch, so I wouldn't think of that. Until here, you're like, oh yeah. Ryoshi already told us. My sister is a psychopath. She'll use anybody to get what she wants. She's kind of a douche. We already know that about us. And yet I'm just like, because all the other versions of us and all the other we're actually decent people. She is not a decent people, which I do like, because we need to have MCs who are not, oh my god, I need a man to help me tie I don't even know how to tie my shoes. Like, that are kind of vapid idiots sometimes. Or just too cutesy or too naive, a little too innocent. You know what I mean? Like, oh, sure, they have a little bit of sass, but sometimes you're like, yeah, you throw in a sassy line doesn't make you're kind of borderline doormat, you know? Sometimes they're better and you're like, I don't mind this doormat. And other times you're like, I swear to God, if you fall off one more fucking cliff, I just don't even, how do you walk? How are you not dead yet? You can barely fucking function, okay? But I kind of forgot that we're a little bit of a douche. Like, because I'm thinking of all the other past versions where she was like a little bit better. So it didn't click until literally just now. Like, he's my strongest piece. Right. That's why she slept with the wizard. She's using the wizard so that he'll do her bidding because she knows the wizard's in love with her. Wow, that's awful. The poor wizard. Oh my God. I really feel bad for the wizard. If I didn't love him before, I'd have loved him just out of spite for this bitch. Like, this horrible, horrible woman. We are horrible. But again, Ryoshi said that. We'll use anybody as pawns to get what we want. So she's manipulating the wizard like, oh yeah, no, I'll have sex with you, wizard. Because that's what I kept thinking. She had sex with a wizard, right? But like, what the fuck? I'm sure someone was yelling at me. By the way, none of this has gone up yet, I don't think. I don't think any of Taisho Ellis has posted yet. I've literally recorded the whole fucking game before you've seen any of it, so. Usually, I record a little bit in advance, but I'm like busting everything out so that I can just sit down and spend a lot of time with Bustafellas when it releases because it's not out yet. But yeah, I'm sure someone was like, oh, she's a manipulative bitch and she was using the wizard. I'm sure someone else, but like, I guess I'm too nice sometimes. Like, I just forgot we're an asshole. All right, okay. Anyway. And I took full advantage. Oh my God, wow. Shady. Who was it? Gretel? No, it wasn't him. He only thinks of her as a sister. I mean, again, not true. She's my sister and I want her. Was it Kaguya? Or Cinderella? Who the hell did she... Are you all in love with her? Is that why you slept with her? She's not innocent in this either. Why the hell would she do that? Is she in love with all of you too? Alice, are you okay? Are you feeling sick? And the thing is if you didn't want him to know, you shouldn't have been laying in his room. You know what I mean? In the wet spot. Gross. Arisu, I'm fine. You sure? The cat was out of the bag, and his existence was revealed. But while Alistair seemed to think I'd had sex with him, my cheating was only ever emotional, not physical. That's not true. Your cheating absolutely was physical. You did have sex with the wizard. After that, Alistair started openly avoiding me. It was emotional, not physical. That's just as bad, but almost a little bit worse, because if you're like, it was just physical, there was no emotion there, like. I still wouldn't put up with it, but I just feel like you could probably work around that depending on who you are. And if you're like, oh, yeah, well, I'm married to a sex addict, so obviously sometimes they just need to get, and I'm not in it. So, yeah, I know they just go off and, like, fuck random people. But, like, if you're like, well, you don't give me what I need emotionally and I need someone else to hold me and love me. Excuse me? Go fuck yourself. Like, I mean, I don't think I'd get in a relationship with a sex addict, but I'm just saying, like, I could almost understand that kind of relationship dynamic. Like, okay, if that's your thing. Or, oh, yeah, I don't mind. We have an open relationship and whatever. It's just physical needs. But the emotional is, like, stronger. But that's just because of me. Emotional bond is stronger than a physical one. So, like, it was just emotional. I will kill you.
Not really, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That makes me like, you're more of an asshole for that, not less. Still, you're also an asshole for having sex with one of his personalities and using him as a pawn. Poor wizard. Hey, Alice? What? Sorry, but I got an errand to run. Mind if I head out? Oh, sure. I had to sneeze. Oh my god. This was my punishment. Hold on. Sorry.
Though my relationship with Alistair was rocky, I got along with the others just fine. Still, things were slowly starting to unravel.
So where do we go from here?
I don't know. But it'll work out. I'm gonna keep you safe.
Oh, this is Gretel. Sister.
Gretel had committed another violent offense. And this time it was even more heinous. I was terrified they'd take him away from me, so instead I led him by the hand into the dark forest. Gretel? Just then he came to a stop. Adisu? Why am I... He looked at me and recoiled.
How did you get those wounds?
Well...
What's wrong? Are you okay? Ah! I can't scream. Then he saw his own bloodied fist and started screaming. Why, blood! Alistair, calm down. Oh god, did I? No! You didn't do anything, Alistair. Please believe me. So it was one of the others? Was it Gretel? Or someone else? Kaguya? It's kind of funny that Kaguya is like, he seems sweet and innocent, but it's stabby. I mean, no, it wasn't. I can't take this anymore. I'm sick of this. Alistair? His mental state was in tatters, and it was all my fault. Yeah, I mean, you did cause Gretel, but also, I mean, he was prone to creating other personalities, and you did have sex with the wizard, so you kind of did a lot of shit to drive this poor man to taking a lot of pills and almost drowning in a lake. Now, granted, he just wanted to go to sleep to talk to his personalities, but he could have fucking drowned. And then it kind of would have been your fault. A few days later, my brother came down on me for everything I'd done. Then he took over all of Alistair's mental wellness support. I mean... Alistair, welcome home. Eddie Sue, what's wrong? Sorry, I need to be alone for a while. Alistair, what was I supposed to have done? I don't know, maybe not fucked one of his personalities? Gretel wasn't exactly your fault. Okay. Ah! I can't scream. Sorry. Just that I heard him screaming and came running. What's wrong? Arisu, you're hurt. We better patch you up. Shards of glass littered the floor. He had punched the mirror. Alice taunted him. Arisu, who am I? What? Just now in the mirror, I saw someone who wasn't me. It was me at first, but the next thing I knew, it turned into someone else. The mirror didn't reflect my face. It was showing someone who looked nothing like me. And then the person looked at me and told me they loved you. And that was when I realized this other person probably wants me to leave. Then after I'm gone, they're going to take over my happy life with you. I'm scared. Really scared. Someone who isn't me lives inside me, using my body, pretending to be me. Someone's. There's multiple someone. There's a lot of them. And when I'm in control, they spy on me from the darkness. That would be the wizard. Arisu, am I really me? Actually, that's true. When he was talking to the mirror version of himself, he was probably talking to the wizard. Kind of thought that he was talking to Alice, but he was talking to the wizard, I'm sure, because, like, there's a person who spies on me in the darkness. That's the wizard. But it's, I think when we read it in the initial path, I read it like Alice, but that's because in the very beginning of the game, Alistair used to have conversations with Alice in the mirror, you know what I mean? So then when they switch it and it's like, well, it's not really Alice now, it's the wizard, it's like, it just, like, really occurred to me. It's kind of hard because I do wish when he was speaking as his other personalities, they wouldn't say Alistair, even though it is Alistair. We should say like Alistair and then like Gretel. Like Alistair Gretel. You know what I mean? And like include it so you know. Because I mean, like I said, I don't know if his inflection changes. He does kind of all the voices. You know what I mean? But their voices aren't that drastically different, and I'm sure you know what I mean? So like anyway. Because I'm not sure I am. I mean, think about it. How can anyone prove whether the person you're talking to right now is really me? Maybe the real me is the other one who isn't me at all. I'll always be on your side, and I'll always believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. Because I love you. I'll always love you, no matter which you it is. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I mean, it's kind of sweet. She loves all his personalities. I like his other personalities in the worlds we lived in. I don't particularly like Alistair. I don't particularly like us in his route either. So, this is a fun story. I'm watching this, but I don't like either one of them. So, you guys keep each other. And I'm going to go live in the man harem in the head. I'm going to be the Spacey in your head because she was somehow better. I don't know. Anisu, I'm sorry. I can't tell if you're actually talking to me or not. I can't even be sure that you love me. That's all right. I wrap my arms around him. Huh? I don't mind if you reject my love. As long as you heal, that's all I care about. Because it doesn't change the fact that you're my prince. This might take 3 parts. That night, I finally let myself cry for the first time in a long time. My whimpers echoed through the darkness. It was like I had gone back in time to that summer night when I was 9. Sometime later. Arisu? What is it, Alistair? That morning he called out to me. It's nothing. Then he smiled. He seemed so normal. Then he took his lunch bag and headed off to college, just like usual. Bye, Alice. See you after school, okay? Meanwhile, I didn't suspect a thing. Like an idiot, I went to class like nothing was wrong. What the? Ryoshi? Then between classes, I checked my phone and found a voicemail from my brother. It felt like a bad omen, so I decided to listen to it ASAP. In actuality, however, it was worse than I could have possibly imagined. I dashed off campus and ran all the way to the ER. There, I found Ryoshi waiting for me. He OD'd. Overdosed, I mean. I'm told he downed a whole bottle of sleeping pills. Why would he do that? He was trying to kill himself. Oh, he was just trying to sleep so he could talk to his other selves. Or maybe also kill himself because he was in the lake. Well, he was by the lake, but... Someone spotted him unconscious on the lake shore while they were passing by. They already pumped his stomach, so he's not in danger. But that's the thing. You were like, I'm going to take a bunch of sleeping pills so that I can fall asleep deep enough to be able to get into my subconscious to talk to all these other things. But if no one had found you, you would have died. Guess when you're desperate. Right now he's sleeping, but he'll probably wake up tomorrow. How long have I been asleep? 2 minutes. His dreams work weird. But tomorrow rolled around and he was still asleep. Why can't he wake up? We don't know. We ran a bunch of tests, but they all came back normal. Sleep is an unconscious state in which the human body has a reduced response to external stimuli until woken. However, in his case, no amount of external stimuli has woken him. So he's in a coma? Something like that. But to be clear, he's not in a total vegetative state. His body responds to pain and other stimuli through changes in expression or reflexive movements. Basically, he's not in a wakeful state, but he's still... Just get to the point already! When we scanned his brain, we found that his body is sleeping while his brain itself is active. In other words, he's dreaming. That's what happens when you sleep. Dreaming. So what's your hypothesis? Why can't he wake up? I'm not a neurologist, so I'm not well versed in consciousness disorders. But if there's nothing wrong with him physically, then there must be something wrong mentally. Tell us something we don't know, Ryoshi. This whole entire game has been his mental problems. Long story short, he's actively refusing to wake up. Is that even possible? Why are you here, Wolf? I like you, but why? Beats me. But he clearly must have wanted an escape from reality if he was ready to take his own life. Normally, the human brain doesn't perceive a dream to be a dream until after it ends. So if he's dreaming right now, then to him, that dream is real life. Will he ever wake up? He'll be fine. You know what they say, all good dreams must come to an end. And then the nightmares start. I mean, his body is perfectly fine. He might hop out of bed tomorrow, for all we know. Yeah, that's the spirit. Is there anything I can do for him? Talk to him every day, touch him, play music for him. Any kind of stimulus would help. Not that kind, whore. And so, as instructed, I spoke to him as he slept. Can you hear me? Can you hear my voice? Why? Please, wake up. Alistair. And then we know what happens. I spent many sleepless nights trying to think of a way to wake him. Come on, don't beat yourself up over it. I know how you feel, but at this rate, you're going to pass out yourself. Blondie's going to be fine. He's going to wake up someday, I guarantee it. I think my brother's wrong. Alistair wasn't trying to kill himself. I mean, yes, he had a lot of anxiety about his life and the world around him, but I don't think he would choose to die. I kept wondering what he had almost said to me that fateful morning. See, like, this part's more interesting because it's like, okay, this is totally different. We've seen what's going on in his head, now we're seeing here, as opposed to, we're reading the same thing, but instead of Alistair being like, gee, I don't know about this, we're like, this is going to be great. There's no difference. This is where it's like, okay, yeah. So what's your hypothesis, Allie Sue? I don't know what he was hoping to achieve, but I think he wanted to go be with the others in his dreams. I've been thinking about this for a long time. About how to heal my prince. Wolf's like, yeah, I kind of hope he doesn't wake up, then you'll get over him and we could date, right? Wolf, rude. So what's your plan? I'm gonna put myself inside him. Well, what do you mean? Wolf's like, I don't, that's not how it works. He has dissociative identity disorder with 7 different personalities. So I'm gonna create an 8th personality, Spacey Arisu, who's then gonna come out and stab me. Because I kind of deserve it. Okay. Okay, but how? Right now he's dreaming. I read that in most cases that... Oh my god. Okay, blah, blah, blah. That line that I am not fucking reading again. I want to smack someone for that. In response to internal and external stimuli and the emotional response... We were fine until we had to read that line for the 7,000th time. I fucking hate that. If I never hear those words together in a sentence again... I'm going to wake up 10 years from now and be like, fuck no! And it's just going to be on constant repeat. Like, it's like a trigger. It's like a trigger now. I'm just going to insta-punch someone. I just hate it so much. We've said it 400 times. In response to internal and external stimuli and the emotional response caused thereof, memories are replaced from mental storage, and our brains invent a narrative to go along with it. That's slightly... So if his dream is influenced by external stimuli, that means I can manipulate it. Oh, sorry, I just got a pain. Fortunately, he has memories of me, so I think that'll improve my chances compared to starting from scratch. I'll put Spacey Arisu into his dream, manipulate it from the outside, and save my prince. But what if you screw up? Then he'll die. I know it's just a dream, but dreams are pretty dang hard to control last I checked. Oh, I've got a backup plan, and I know someone who can help me. Gotcha. You're not going to stop me? Nah, I'm not a doctor. Thanks, Wolf. So, what do you need me to do? Tie up Ryoshi. With Wolf's help, I snuck into the hospital at night. Can you hear me? My beloved was sleeping peacefully on the bed beside me. Can you hear my voice? I have a favor to ask. Something only you can do. I clasped his hand in mine. Let's play pretend. I'll be the Ohisama, princess, and you'll be the Mahotsukai. Maho is magic, but like, I don't know why when I'm doing that, I'm like, wait, I have to stop. Mahotsukai, wizard. Sorry it's not the lead role, but it's still a really important part to play. I've already picked a setting, too. It's set in the Looking Glass world where everything is topsy-turvy. Amid a colorful cast of gender-flipped fairy tale characters, I'll take on the role of the heroine and join them in their twisted tales. How will the story end? It's up to me. Since there's no script, even I don't know what will happen. But I know what I want the ending to look like, and that's all that matters. It is kind of funny because this is literally like she's creating Otome games in his head. It's like a fairy tale, and I know how the ending is supposed to go, and then I need you to reset it. It's literally like, oh, fuck, I got a bad ending. Okay, start over, go back here, and then, but the wizard is bringing you there. So it's like, it's actually kind of cool. She put an Otome game in an Otome game. You see, I really love happy endings, but you knew that, didn't you? You see, the wizard has a very important role. Sometimes an ally, sometimes an enemy. The bearer of great and mysterious power. We've said that 300 times, but for some reason this one doesn't bother me. And when I mess up, I want you to kill me. The story can only have one heroine, otherwise it'll veer off track. Piece of cake for a guy like you, right? After all, you're my strongest piece. And that's why she had sex with him. I thought I knew everything about him and the people living in his head. But I was arrogant. They may have looked stable, but they all carried deep trauma that could trigger it at a moment's notice. They all needed help, but they were chained down by their pasts and they were suffering. I wanted to make them happy. So for now, please listen to the fairy tales I'm about to tell you. If I can't heal you, then perhaps a more wholeheartedly devoted princess can. She'll make sure you all live happily ever after. And they're probably all happening at the same time, too, if you think about it. The love gift of a fairy tale. And we kind of already know we're going to have to save your prince. Oh, that was it. Okay. So we didn't have like the after when he woke up. Well, maybe. We don't know. It's kind of funny because it goes on for so long showing everything that we've already seen. And then it's like abrupt ending. But we kind of already know what happens. And he wakes up and happily ever after. Yeah, no, there's not even after. Okay. Alright. So like... So those are all the chapters. I just didn't know if we missed anything, but no, okay. So like there you go. And they lived happily ever after. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Alistair. Like, okay, I wasn't a huge fan of Alice to begin with because he's just a little too on the lolly boy thing. His attitude problem, I don't mind. I normally don't mind characters like that, but when they kind of put them in the slightly lolly boyish, it's like, yeah, I'm just not. It's not gonna do anything for me. I like him as a character, but not as a love interest. You know, it's the same as Snow White. Fun route to do, great character. I just not. It's not for me, right? So like, but I don't know Alistair. It's like, yeah, no. I don't know if any other game had like Alistair, like that same character, whatever, and it wasn't like the whole point is your multiple personalities in his head. I'd be like, yeah, no, he's like just more bland than cardboard. And he's got multiple personalities, but he's still boring as fuck. Your personalities are way more entertaining. Like, you know, so it's like, but I also don't like her in his route. I liked our character that we were in every other route, basically, because you're like, even when she was being a little sadistic and fucking cray-cray, in like Gretel's route, you're like, you're a sick bitch. I kind of like this. He's a sick asshole. You're perfect for each other, you know? Like, but for some reason, this is like, yeah, it's just, I don't like either one of you, really. Like, I don't know whether that's not going to taint my thing of the game. Like, oh my god, it ruined everything. You know what I mean? It's like, I just don't like us in the real world, and I don't like Alistair. But overall, like the whole thing, it's like, no, but this is fucking good. But I think it works the way it's supposed to. You know what I mean? I may not particularly like Alistair, like he's bland as fuck, but that's because you meet all of his other personalities and they're all kind of like out there, a little over the top, a little crazy, whatever. And then Alistair's like, well, there's really nowhere to go but down for all of them. You know what I mean? Because they've all got some fucked up backstories, and then you're like, Alistair's pretty much just cardboard. But he really couldn't be anything else because all of his other personalities were everything else. And then, like, us being a manipulative kind of fucking little bit of a bitch. It fits perfectly. Like, I may not like her, real world Spacey, but I totally get why they made the character that way, and it works perfectly. So it's like, I like the characterization, I like what they did, but it's one of those, like, I'm not going to be like, my favorite version of us was this. It's like, no, she's trash. But, like, understandable why they did it. I appreciate why they did it. You know what I mean? Like, there's characters you don't like. You're like, I appreciate this character, but I don't particularly like them. But I'm not so angry at their existence thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you? Game developers and writers, why would you do this? It's like, I totally get why you did it. Personally don't like her. I'm not like, yeah, go girl. I'm like, what a bitch. But get why you did it. Appreciate it. Works well. You know? You know what I'm saying. But yeah, I did actually enjoy all the other routes in his head more than Alistair himself, basically. Like, I enjoyed all the other games versus this one. Like, this one was just like, oh, this is the end? It wasn't as good to me. But that's just because I don't particularly like Alistair. I'm not really interested in Alice. You know what I mean? But it'd be like, I really enjoyed, and actually the last one wasn't my favorite either. I love the wizard, but I felt like he got the short end of the stick, so I feel sad on his behalf. And I'm not a huge fan of Snow White, so like, you're like, I mean, I played it, and I liked the route, but I'm not like, oh my god, I love like all our beautiful boys in the manor, you know. Overall, I love this game, though. The writing's good. The translation is fucking amazing. Like, fucking amazing. You know, they did a beautiful job. The art and the story, everything about this game is great. Like, the story is fucking amazing. Because that's a fucking ride. From beginning to end, not knowing anything about the game, not knowing what's gonna happen, not having any fucking clue until all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. What? We're all what? Huh? What? But fucking impressive. Fucking impressive. How they just kind of snowballed that shit into fucking multiple personalities. Like a slap in the face. You're like, I'm glad I knew nothing about this game. I'm glad I didn't know anything about it except for seeing some screenshots from the prior terrible translation that was done, which were funny as fuck. Like, you'll be Katakana Alice and I'll be Hiragana Alice. I don't remember who was who, but it's still funny. Anyway, but yeah, no, overall it was a great game, and I'm glad we played it. Yeah. And it's over now. But I am so glad, actually. I hate to say I'm glad it's over. I'm not like, thank God it's over. I'm glad it's over in the sense that we don't have to wait with bated breath to know if the next part's going to get translated. You know what I mean? Like, when the first part came out, you're like, okay, it's only 2 routes and everything's complete, but like, what if the rest of the game never gets translated? And then the second part came out and you're like, okay. And then you kind of knew this epilogue was going to come after the second and third. You're like, they're probably going to translate the whole thing now. But it's still one of those, like, well, what if something happens? It's not like, it'd be like if they're like, we're translating XYZ game, and you're like, awesome! And then 2 years later, you're like, did you not? And they're like, no. And then you're like, huh? You know, just don't tell me. Like, I try not to look at all the amazing games that are coming out in Japanese, because I'm like, then I'm just going to be sad they're never going to be localized, so I don't want to know. Don't tell me until it's coming out. I think there's hype right now that Cupid Parasite might be getting localized. By the time this goes up, there might be an announcement. But everyone is getting very hyped. Like, I mean, it looks like it could be. But I'm like, but they haven't said anything. And now you're making me more excited that there could be another Otome game being localized. I don't want to know about this game. And I've already read some stuff. And I'm like, but see, any game that comes out, I'll buy. I don't even give a shit if everyone's like, it was terribly rated. I don't care. I'll buy it because we need more, especially the big budget. I really hate that they're localizing a lot of really old games. Here's an old game from 20 years ago, and the art is kind of fucking terrible. I want like newer games where the art's actually pretty, because that's the thing that gets me. The game could suck, but if the art's pretty, I'm there for it. But it's like, the game's good, yeah, but the art, like, my stick figures might look slightly better. I don't, you know what I mean? But anyway, maybe by now, when this goes up, Idea Factory International will have said that they're localizing it. Everybody keeps putting up the hype train, and if it doesn't get announced in the next, I don't actually know. Yeah, no, by the time this goes up, because I think it's the end of July. Holy fucking shit, they've already put the hype train up, and it's like over, like, it's like 2 weeks from now. What the fuck? What the fuck, people? Like, 2 weeks from now. No! Okay, see, I gotta stay off Reddit. Like, I gotta stay away from the internet because I don't want to know. Like, it's making me like, oh my god, are we getting another one? I'm not even prepared for all the games that are coming out now. It's sliding into fall, guys. That means all the games are going to start rolling out. They need to start localizing things at the beginning of the year instead of waiting till the end. I'm just saying. Space us out a little bit. Anyway, but yeah, I'm just glad it all came out because it was a ride and it was a good one. The beautiful translation helps. And I'm sure some of it was the actual writing. The writing was really good. And then the translation was just beautifully done on top of it, so it just makes it better. You know, because a lot of times you're like, it could have been written really well in Japanese, and then the translation was kind of just good, but not great, and then it loses some of the magic. But this just either retained all the magic or added magic. I don't know, but the magic was there, and I appreciate it. I do hope they pick up more stuff to localize in the future because they're amazing. But yeah, this was fun. And I will see you, not tomorrow, but the day after, for Bustafellows. Provided nothing goes wrong, because it's not even out yet. So, but yeah, I've put our buffers in, so we should be fine. And as soon as that comes out, I'm going to be glued to the Switch playing it. So, yeah. And this sucks, because this is what, part 69? Really? Really? Couldn't have gotten to part 70, but again, it's part 69, so. Anyway. So, again, yep, I will see you not tomorrow, the day after. We will start our new game, but I hope you enjoyed this one. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.